The place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. So hit the subscribe button and bell icon now to never miss an episode. So today I wanted to talk to you about my Asexualise mission and story. So in case you didn't know, I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives book out on Amazon. And yes, I have a mission and a story. Asexualise obviously is the brand I go under to help asexuals. Anak, hello, nice to see you. I'm on my mobile phone tonight for a reason, because I'm going to read something from my laptop. So you might have known that I've had to update my website recently, and one of the things I have to do is a media press kit. So this is something that podcasters can read to know how I help asexuals and what my mission is towards asexuals in regard to asexuality. So about a couple of weeks ago, I pitched top podcasters to be on their shows. This is people that have millions of listeners, and it's really difficult to get on their shows. And 3 of them said yes, but there's another part to the process. And one of them, I still have to go through his application form. And one of the things he asked for is a media press kit. Well, I've never had one of those before, because all the media and press coverage I've had and the podcasts I've been on, it's been like organic. It's been me talking to them, like the BBC radio I got on, for example. Jeremy Vine's show I phoned in when he was talking about asexuality. BBC radio with Graham Torrington, I spoke to Graham on LinkedIn, and I ended up being approached by someone for an article that went in the Daily Mirror. It's now just called the Mirror or Mirror newspaper. And at the same time I went in the Daily Star. Femmedic, I remember exactly how that happened, but someone approached me, I think, but it might have been something to do with asexuality.org, and they might have been looking for people to go on Femmedic, and I volunteered. I think that might be how it came about. But all the podcasts I've got on, you know, it's usually been through Facebook, and it's been me just talking directly to the podcaster, us connecting and stuff like that. So all this is to raise awareness for asexuality, because I'm really proud to be asexual, and I honestly believe I was put on this earth to help asexuals. So I'm going to just spin you around now so that you can see what my personal mission is, if you didn't already know that, and a bit about how I intend to obtain that and how I do that. So it's really giving you like insider secrets, if you like, or insider backstory, but it's going to be on my website so that people can see it. But I'll have to do a link to it via Google Docs for people to download it. It's mostly for people, like I said, who are podcasters and in the press, but I think it's very relevant because obviously it's Pride Month, and this is all about promoting asexuality and being proud to be asexual and having a really deep asexual mission that's not easy for me to fulfill. But I believe I was put on this earth to do that. So that's what I will endeavour to do while I'm still on planet Earth. Right, let's go. So this is part of my media press kit. So this is how much I've done so far, which is the majority of it. So it starts off like this, and then this is the page, and then it goes on to who am I personal, then who am I professional, and then notable achievements and stuff like that, development. So there's a lot that has to go into it. It's taking me absolutely ages to do that because I've had to do it in the software. I've put it in Word now, but it's had to be created in a software called Stencil, so it's kind of hard. I don't know if I can show you Stencil quickly. Yeah, this is Stencil. It's a software tool. See, so I've deleted some of the ones that weren't right as well. So it's quite a lot of stuff. I've deleted, I don't know, about 8 or more different things that weren't right. So yeah, let's switch back. So here we go. Asexualise mission and story. So this is personal mission here. To get asexuality recognised as a sexual orientation in its own right throughout the globe, so that no asexual has to live in fear of ridicule ever again. So just to expand on that for the people who are watching, in its own right throughout the globe. So there's a lot of people who are getting asexuality recognised more and more, but a lot of that is still within the LGBT plus community, and it's becoming more well known, although there is a lot more in the media now, like Sky TV and in articles and stuff, which is really, really good. But my personal mission, I believe, given to me by God, the universe, because I'm very spiritual, is to get asexuality recognised as sexual orientation in its own right. This means that I need to get through to whoever's coming up. I'll show you. I'll tell you. Wait for it. Wait for it. So how? This is how I'm going to fulfill this mission, right? So by talking about asexuality at every opportunity to normalise it. So this is how I'm going to fulfill this mission. So this is to get asexuality recognised as sexual orientation in its own right throughout the globe, remember? So that no asexual has to live in fear of ridicule ever again. So its own right. The reason for this is because if asexuality is always just clumped with LGBT+, heterosexuals won't know the difference. You know, we'll always get comments like, oh, so you're a lesbian or you're gay. And of course, there's some asexuals that identify as gay, asexual, lesbian, asexual. And I have gay and lesbian friends, right? But at the end of the day, we are part of LGBT+, with the A in the acronym, in case you didn't know that. But my personal mission is to get it recognised globally to the world. And the majority population of the world are heterosexuals. So I need to get it through to them, which is a huge mission because it's the hardest, you know? Hardest for people to accept. Right, so this is my house. So I said by talking about asexuality at every opportunity to normalise it. So I talk about asexuality because I've got a lot of pride in being asexual. I talk about it to taxi drivers. I talk about it to supermarket assistants in the past. I talked about it in conversation when I'm talking to people online, especially on the dating app. So I'm on Facebook dating and Badoo dating at the moment. Both of them I'm active on at the moment, so it's all in my profile, in my bio, and then I have to usually explain what it means because they don't take no notice, unfortunately, in my bio. When I say I don't want sex, they still ask me the question like, so you don't want sex with anyone? I had this just a few minutes ago, the last hour I'd say, because I just deleted the guy off Facebook dating because I'm like, no, I don't want sex with anyone. Like, why don't you understand that? But never mind. I'll get through to them eventually. But I think I did when he's like, I said, we're not suitable. And he's like, okay. So how it's by giving asexuals a voice, empowering them to be comfortable and confident with their asexuality and educating others through my Asexualise, my Asexual Life channel, which is this one, my blogs and books and social media. So yes, if you didn't already know about my book, this is Asexual Perspectives book, right? So the original perspectives. There's some other people now coming out with books with a very similar title to mine. Yes, the reason why I've got a certain tone of voice with that is because one of the companies that's actually got with a very similar title to mine is a company that actually wanted this book years ago. They saw I was doing really well, found it in an LGBT plus shop in London, and they approached me to actually publish it under their own imprint, whereas I've got my own imprint called Quirky Books. That's why it's got the same barcode. And they wanted to remove half the stories out of it. 47 asexual stories. It wouldn't be asexual perspectives and celebrating the diversity if they took half the stories out now, would they? Would it? I should say. So yes, I declined them, and now they've got quite a number of asexual books out, but one of them is very similar to this title. So I think they pretty much copied that in a way. Not completely, but yes. And also I have this book, but this book does, although it talks about fibromyalgia, it actually has a chapter that talks about asexuality in it. So it goes back to my original thing by talking about asexuality at every opportunity to normalise it. So I've brought it up in my fibromyalgia self-help handbook, and I'm known as Ace Fibro Girl because Ace stands for asexual. So I talk about, that's me with my Ace Fibro Girl outfit. That's my superhero outfit, in case, I don't know if you can see that. It's quite near, isn't it? And the lighting is a bit strange at the moment. But yes, you can't probably see it, but you can go to acefibrogirl.com and I've got a whole, like, book page. Anyway, I talk about asexuality in here because people who've got fibromyalgia, which I do have, quite a lot can't have sex, or it gets very painful if they do. So it's an opportunity for those with fibromyalgia who think they can't get a relationship to know there are people out there that don't want, need, or like sex, and these people are called asexual. I know there's some asexuals that do have sex and actively partake in it and they don't have a problem with it or enjoy it as an activity. But I'm saying there are people in the world that don't like, need, or want sex, and it would be very suitable for, you know, someone with fibromyalgia who can't have sex ever again to find love, you know, true love. Obviously, the difference is as well is that obviously they're not actually asexual unless they are, because they're asexual and got fibromyalgia. And that's what the good thing is. By spreading awareness of spreading awareness of asexuality in a fibromyalgia book, you're actually reaching a more global audience. So I'm reaching people with this book that wouldn't normally come across an asexual channel, not unless they already knew they were asexual. So this means there'll be some people from this book who read it will be like, oh my God, I didn't realize asexuality was a thing. Anarch. That's a bit goofy. I don't know what you said that's a bit goofy to, but anyway. Anarch, sexual relationships equals to sexual attraction. And so Anarch, yeah, so I don't want sex. No sex with anyone. Yeah, Sherlock, good job. Yeah, exactly, Anarch. Sorry, I've only just catching up on your chat. Yeah, exactly. When they say on dating sites, oh, so you don't want sex with anyone, I've blatantly put in my bio, no sex. Hate all types of sex. And they still like talk about it. It's ridiculous. Oh, them taking out some of the A stories is what you said. That's a bit goofy too. Thank you for clarifying that. Sorry, I got a bit lost because when I'm trying to read the book and the screen and trying to keep my eye on chat on a phone, it's quite difficult. So thank you for clarifying. Yeah, I mean, taking half the stories out. And do you know why they wanted to take half these stories out? Which is very important to know the reason, is because in their brand, they do not want anything with sexual abuse in it whatsoever. And in my brand, I actually have my own publishing company called Quirky Books. And so I publish under my own imprint, and I would rather build my own book publishing dream than some other companies. Bear in mind, this company's been going for over 35 years, right? So it's a proper traditional publisher. I'd always usually years ago wanted to be with a traditional publisher so much I would have done anything to have had that someone in my inbox years ago like that. But when this guy came in my inbox from this company and told me he wanted to remove half the stories out of it, I'm like, and he changed the percentage of the commission he offered me, because so basically he wanted to take the Asexual Perspectives book, take half the stories out because it doesn't go with their brand, because they only want nice stories. They don't want real raw, authentic stories, which is what I'm all about. They want nice stories that don't have any sexual abuse in at all. And it would ruin their brand image, basically, and what they stand for. So they didn't want the stories. That's why they wanted to remove half of them. And they also said because it would lower the price point, which would be better as well. And they wanted all my reviews that I got over the years. They wanted all access to my social media, everything I got access to. I had to, like, literally, they approached me and I had to apply still for them to like take me on. And then when they had the phone call, it was a really low percentage I get as an author anyway. I get far much more by self-publishing. But yes, they do have a big network. Yes, they can get books into bookstores that either are, you know, which I would find harder to get in. But this book, you can actually order it from Barnes & Noble, Waterstones, Blackwell's, even Walmart you can get it from. So I've done really well with this book, you know. And in the end, I basically was saying I don't think it's a good idea for them to publish it. And they said, oh, they agree because they don't think they could meet my marketing expectations. But before that, when I fill out the application, I had to give them all my methodology of how I get sales and everything. And since this particular company has been publishing asexual books all over a sudden, a lot at once, my sales have actually gone down a lot for this book. So, you know, I mean, I'm glad there's more asexual books. Don't get me wrong. I'm really glad there's more asexual books in the world. I think that is a good thing. But when they've taken my title and used you basically use part of it, you know what I mean? It's very similar. It's a bit like not great, really. In one way, it's flattering because it means I had a really good title in the first place. But using the title, and what they do as well, this publishing company, because that's what they said to me. They're going, oh, I want you to read this book and rewrite it like this person's basically written it, or any books you write for us in the future, I want you to write it like this. And they were going to give me a copy of someone else's book and want it done like that. And I'm like, in the end, I just said, I was just like, no. I mean, I didn't want to take the stories out of here. I don't think it's fair for them to take all the reviews and everything to get access to all my social media and Asexual network. And, they've already got my methodologies. But one of them I couldn't even do. Like, they wouldn't even allow me to quote out of my own book, which I do quote a lot. Like, next month, it's Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month that I do every year since publishing this in 2017. I read from the book for the whole month, every day, usually. This is what I usually do. And then we discuss, a chapter from the book, or it's not usually a chapter even. It can be like a like certain paragraphs in different chapters, or certain topic from different chapters in different parts of the book. So it becomes really interesting. So I don't do that this month because obviously it's Pride Month, but it's Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month next month, which is celebrating our diversity across the asexual spectrum, basically, like the book represents. And that's one of the reasons why I did 47 asexual stories in it, is because people can see the diversity across the asexual spectrum, and they can see what the asexual spectrum is, rather than just being given textbook definitions of it, like loads of books and videos and YouTubers do. They just give you the basics. They're not really telling you how that plays out in real life situations. So mine was kind of the original first book. That it wasn't the original first asexual book. Invisible Orientation by Sandra Swank Ivy, otherwise known as. She's a really nice person. She was the first person to write a book about asexuality called The Invisible Orientation. So I have a lot of respect for her because she really cares about asexuals, and she does a show regularly. She does something called Letters to Asexuals, and she's a really nice person. So she deserves a lot of credit for asexuality and the books and stuff and awareness. But mine was like the first one to talk about like stories on the cover that I know of. And then since that's happened, there's like other people followed suit. So yeah. But yeah, it is a really good book. Go and grab it from Amazon. And so let's carry on with what I was talking about here. And hi, Liam. I know Liam was in the chat earlier. I don't know if Liam's still there, but hi. I have to log in. You can't see my login password, so it's all right. So, yes. So I was saying, by giving asexuals a voice, empowering them to be comfortable and confident with their asexuality, and educating others through this channel that I'm talking to you now through my blogs, books, and social media. So I've mentioned that it's in this book, my main book, and I've also got it in the fibro book, because some people who've got fibromyalgia can't have sex, and therefore it's relevant for them to know about asexuality, because there'll be some people who can't have sex who've got fibromyalgia, don't even know there's asexuals and they can have love without sex. Oh, I'm glad you're still here, Liam. So yeah, this book is a great book anyway. It's autobiographical. I actually really like this book because I've done it in a superhero style, so it's really fun. So it's how to manage fibromyalgia to have less pain, more energy, and feel happy like a superhero rock star. But it's good even if you don't have fibromyalgia, because it tells you how to reduce pain in 25 aspects of your life, a lot of which apply to people if they're not if they've not got fibromyalgia. I got fibromyalgia. It's a chronic pain condition that affects the nerves and muscles of the body, but I do manage it really well. But yeah, so I did it in a superhero style, as you can see from the cover. So it's autobiographical, and it's like a self-development book, really, and it's lots of fun. It is good fun. So yeah, so I would still recommend getting a copy of that as well, because it's nice to see my autobiographical information in there, because it gives a different side to me than the asexual perspectives one, because I tell my personal story in here as well, in case you didn't already know that. There's my story plus 46 others. So anyway, get back to this. So when I'm talking about how I'm going to fulfill my mission, by getting heterosexuals and world thought leaders, you are Sandra Bellamy, thank you. By getting heterosexuals and world thought leaders such as entrepreneurs to understand asexuality, using my past heterosexual relationship experience since 6 years old. That's when I started being in heterosexual relationships, and my entrepreneur life. So I'm basically combining entrepreneurship along with asexuality, which hasn't been done before, to my knowledge, ever. It's two things that people wouldn't usually put together, but actually it's what I'm putting together, because it's the only way I believe I'm going to get asexuality recognized globally, because I need to get through to the thought leaders. And the more podcasts I get on that do have billions of listeners, or millions in the case of the podcasters I was just pitching to a couple of weeks ago, you know what I mean? If they got millions of listeners, like this, one of them's got like millions of listeners per episode, you know? Just imagine how many people will know about asexuality. But he needs this pack. So as part of the application, even though he's agreed to me being on his show, so I'm really like, that's why I'm trying to do a really good job of this pack to explain what my mission is and how I'm going about achieving it. So you're like the first people to see this, right? This hasn't gone out on the internet yet. This is still in my Word document. So because I have got still a little bit to do on this. So not this particular page, but by getting heterosexuals, like I said. So yeah, going back to when I was 6 years old, I had my first boyfriend when I was 6. And if you don't already know what happened with that, he wanted to do sexual exploration after we'd been kissing passionately, yes, at 6 years old. So I do actually have a lot of heterosexual sexual relationship experience, but he wanted to do sexual exploration. I didn't want that. I felt really invaded, but I'm guilty for that for years later. So it wasn't good. But looking back now, I know that's because I'm asexual and didn't realise it. So it's really good for me to actually look back in the past and realise I just wasn't sexually driven at all. I was romantically driven. I was kissing driven from a very young age. It made me feel like really good. Yes, God, at 6, yes, 6 years old. Yeah, I had a boyfriend. So my parents moved house at 6, and it was not that long after they moved. And yeah, it was a boy in my school, same age as me as well. So it wasn't like he was older. It was the exact same age as me in my school. Primary school, yeah. So yeah, so it was 6 years old. So I liked kissing a lot at 6. I'm a hyper romantic and hyper kisser, in case you didn't know, and that makes it very difficult trying to find a relationship, because a lot of asexual guys, because I'm into guys, don't actually want much kissing a lot of the time, and a lot of asexuals in general, I think. And most of the world are not into kissing as much as me. I am literally a hyper kisser. I can kiss for up to 3 hours and not get bored these days. I'm talking about in adulthood. And I was kissing quite a bit then at 6, but obviously not for that long. But yes, and a hyper romantic. So I date myself as well, which is a lot of fun, actually. I do like dating myself. It's good to go to the cinema and stuff like that. And I desperately need a date with myself, because I haven't had one for a couple of weeks, because I've been busy working on this back of the scenes, behind the scenes, should I say, stuff. Because I had to update my Asexualise website, which took some time as well. So I'm known as the Asexual Entrepreneur at my Make Money Make Cash at Make Money Make Cash. So I've actually got another YouTube channel, and Ace Fibro Girl in my fibro book. Ace is the nickname for asexual, and I talk about asexuality in my fibro book. So I've done that on purpose. So I've got a channel, and maybe I should have put the fact at Make Money Make Cash YouTube channel, but I have got a website as well. So that's my Make Money Make Cash brand. My other main channel, this is the number 1 main channel, that's the second main channel, but it's much smaller. I'm growing it though. So someone the other day didn't understand why I'm called the Asexual Entrepreneur. They messaged me on the Make Money Make Cash. They're like, why are you called the Asexual Entrepreneur? What's entrepreneurship got to do with asexuality? And I said, oh, I think they didn't even ask me why you call the Asexual Entrepreneur, but it was like they were asking me that, because they're like, what's asexuality got to do with being an entrepreneur? And I said, because I'm asexual and sexual orientation, and I'm an entrepreneur. I've got my own book publishing company called Quirky Books. And then I did a video which shows my Asexual Perspectives book. Like, was it 1 or 2 days later after that? And I got a sale. I'm like, oh, that's good. Someone else knows about asexuality now. And so, yeah, I've done it on purpose. It is quite daring. I mean, it's quite like, no one else has ever like mixed, like I said, as far as I know, asexuality and entrepreneurship. And especially, that's a very unique title, but I've done that on purpose. I feel I'm being very brave to push asexuality into the entrepreneur world. you know, because I speak up, like when I'm on boot camps and things like that, like experts boot camps, speaking boot camps, I'm talking about asexuality the whole time. So although you don't see everything I do for asexuals on this channel, I do actually live and breathe asexuality. I run groups as well on Facebook, which take quite a lot to manage. And I'm literally, you know, when I did the experts boot camp for 3 days, which was full days, they were like, God knows how many hours, at least 9 hours a day each. And then I'm talking, we're having networking, breakout rooms and stuff like that. I'm talking about asexuality. My whole picture's about asexuality. So there's hundreds of people watching that, you know? And so I'm doing whatever I can to get asexuality recognised globally, because it's very important while I'm still here on planet Earth that I get asexuality recognised globally, so that asexuals can live in harmony amongst sexuals and we can actually meet more people like us. Because at the moment there's a lot of asexuals that are scared to come out, fear of ridicule. They just don't feel that they can come out because they're worried about what people think or say. And a lot of us are spread all around the world, but there's probably more than we know about near us, but everyone's kind of scared. And, well, not everyone, but the majority of people are still scared. And it's like, I don't want that for us. I want a world where we're accepted and it's normal for some people to not want, like, or need sex. I said some people because I'm not saying everyone should be like us. I'm just saying some people, you know? So yeah. That's why I'm doing that with that brand. And also, yeah, I help people make money, make cash on that channel, but I do it in a way that's good, because when I was made redundant in 2017, I actually didn't have enough benefits for food money, and so I learned how to sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace and Vinted and things like that. And so one of my best friends at the time, she taught me actually how to do it, and then I learned better techniques myself and learned how to sell more. And so I teach people how to do that on that channel, which is great if you need quick cash. And I've got free boot camps on there, which is really good. So it's a very valuable channel. I interview other entrepreneurs and authors on there, how they make money doing what they love, so people can do the same. So it's a different to this channel, but I do like bring asexuality into it now and again, not all the time, obviously, because it's not for asexuals. It's not aimed at that market, but it's to help raise awareness of asexuality. The more the channel gets known, the more they see that I'm the asexual entrepreneur, the more they'll accept it. And I did say that asexuals and entrepreneurs do have things in common. Like, we're both a minority in the world. I mean, we're a minority sexual orientation, but entrepreneurs are only a minority of the population. There's not many people that decide to start their own businesses, take risks and chances starting a business, maybe fail and open more businesses, you know, make mistakes, all that lot. A lot of people are still in the corporate world, are still at 9-to-5 jobs. They don't venture out, and, you know, so I think this is very good. Also, entrepreneurs do think differently. They usually don't, how can I put it, conform to society's expectations, like with doing a 9-to-5 job and only thinking a certain way and limiting themselves. And so asexuals as well, you know, we think outside the box and we're different in our thought patterns. We don't succumb to all the conditioning of society, just like entrepreneurs don't. Because entrepreneurs are saying, like, 9-to-5 job, stuff that. I'm going to work for myself and build my own dream, rather than put money in the pocket of people who don't give a toss about me because they're just big corporations. They couldn't care less. I'm just a number. They'd rather try and make something of their life themselves. And you know what I mean? So although entrepreneurs and asexuals, you could argue, are completely different things, we do have some commonalities with the fact we think differently. We think outside the box. We are a minority. We don't curtail to traditional, stereotypical, you know, conditioning, if you like. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that they're not conditioned in terms of their sexuality. That's why I'm going in the entrepreneur space, so they understand that asexuality is a real thing and that we can build on that, you know. So the entrepreneurs can, if entrepreneurs think differently about life in general, and the fact that there's, people are conditioned to believe that you just do a 9 to 5 job and go home and that's it, and they don't believe that because they know something different is out there, then it means that they should be, technically speaking, more acceptable to understanding that they have been conditioned to believe heterosexuality is the sexuality and that everyone should be having sex. That is also conditioning. So just like people are conditioned to just go to 9 to 5 job, have sex, marriage and kids and die, and they understand that, if you're going to work, you're putting money in someone else's pocket who can really give a toss about you rather than building your own dream, then they should follow suit, that they can understand that, you're conditioned from birth to believe that you should be having sex. So I think this is a good thing, and this is part of my plan of how to get through to heterosexuals. So so the benefits of my personal mission, which is get asexuality recognised as a sexual orientation in its own right throughout the globe, so no asexual has to live in fear of ridicule ever again. The benefits of that, which there's quite a few if you look here, is it makes it easier to find more asexuals for a relationship or friendship. It improves relationships. So improve relationships in general, as a recorded 1% of the population is asexual. That's 1 in every 100 people you meet or know are likely to be asexual. So it could be a friend or family member. This is really important because obviously whoever's reading this, they might think, well, what, they're heterosexual, for example. They might think, well, what the hell does it matter to me? I don't care if someone's asexual or not. But when you put it in these terms, obviously that one's more relevant to asexuals, the fact that we find more people who are like us. But this one here is relevant to them because they might have a family member, a relation, some work colleague, friend, acquaintance even, that might be asexual and they never knew it, and they could help that person, be more understanding. So it could be a friend or family member I've put, and help to prevent sexual abuse and make dating fairer, which I think is really important, because there's people in the world who are asexual who don't want sex at all. And if people on dating sites don't listen to that and don't understand and just think we're playing like games and we really want it, then that's going to lead to sexual abuse. And we're more susceptible to sexual abuse because we don't want it in the first place. And they just think, oh, they're playing games, they're having fun, they're just teasing us and all the rest of it on dating sites, trying to get through to heterosexual that I don't want sex. It's like bashing your head against a brick wall sometimes. It's like, but you don't want sex. It's like, oh, well, we can decide that later if we get into a relationship. It's like, I don't want sex ever. It's not going to change in the future. I'm being honest with you and telling you up front now. You know what I mean? It's just like, if I'm being honest, then I should have respect for that I'm not wasting people's time on dating sites. Oh, I'm spitting on the screen. You can tell I get passionate about this stuff, So thanks for the thumbs up. Personal story. So this is a very brief personal story bit here because I have to keep it as brief as possible. This is more pages than it should be. Well, they suggest 2 to 3 pages, but I've done it in really big font, some of these pages, as you can see. So some of it's like basically 36 or above font points instead of 12, because I've done it in a different thing. I've done it in stencil software and then inserted it here, right? So this is not actually done in Word, it's put in Word, right? If you understand what I mean. So personal story. So this is very brief detail. So if a podcaster saw this, then he or she or whatever gender can expand on it with me. In 2014, so we're up here now. I better put it down because you're going to get a bit distracted else with the other bit. So in 2014, I saw an NHS counsellor. I told her I couldn't bring myself to have sex anymore. That the expectations of sex at the end of dates was making me almost wet myself. She said the worst thing. You need to have sex in order to keep a good guy. I went home horrified and Googled, I love kissing, not sex. And it came up with asexuality. And then it says to watch the documentary for the full story here. Now, the documentary is actually on this channel. It's like my introductory video to this channel, which is titled something like about wanting sex, but I'm asexual. So, yeah, I can't remember the full exact title, but it's about someone wanting sex and I'm asexual. So, right, who am I personal? Do you want me to go through this quickly? I may as well. You can always leave comments and tell me what you think of these, by the way. And if there's anything else I need to add. I can't add much more, though, because obviously I'm trying to keep it brief. This is more than most people will go into details. But, you know, I do welcome feedback because I'm going to be, like, literally sending this off probably on Monday, which is, like, in less... Well, it's over 24 hours' time. So if you think I need to change anything or add anything... But I think I've got enough information personally, because if I put too much on there, the person who's busy podcasting will just get so fed up and be like, I don't want to read it anymore. So I had to extract the right information. But if I've missed anything important out, please let me know. So who am I personal? I'm a lively, bubbly, energetic, heteromantic, asexual girl with grey areas. I actually have the grey area of kissing. And the way I like to dance, which is sexual behaviour, but I have zero sexual attraction. But the reason I didn't tell them my grey areas is because they can ask me that on a podcast interview, and that creates intrigue with them. If I tell them everything, then they're going to have nothing left to ask me in an interview, basically, apart from regurgitating all this for their listeners. So it's better to leave some things for curiosity. Strong business side to my character and a quirky teenager side. Passionate about writing, book publishing, asexuality, entrepreneurship, personal development, self-development, and making money online. I reprogram my mind to be like 21 years old using NLP. My soul is young. Writing books that change lives from pain to gain is my hugest life purpose and passion, followed very closely by asexuality and my asexuality mission. I live and breathe asexuality. I love educating people at every opportunity about asexuality, from a taxi driver to supermarket checkout operator to a business CEO and billionaire. Nothing is off limits for me. And then this is a page was working on earlier. So yes, I'm still in the process of working on this because I'm adding more stuff to it. But the thing is, if I add more stuff to it, then I've got to take these bits off here, unless I put it on another page. So I'm trying to put it all on one page, but you can see it's a bit cramped because I've had to remove the top bit to put other stuff in here. So I don't know what to do, because if I put it on another page, and obviously I'm creating another page, but I do think the layout of this looks better than the layout of this, which I haven't finished yet because I was going to highlight some more stuff in yellow on here. But you know what I mean? It looks okay, but it doesn't look as good as this page. But then because I've added more paragraph to it, I would have to then go on to another page. So yeah, it's a bit tricky, this one, because it's like, which do I do? Do I do the aesthetically pleasing one, which is the other one, or do I do the one with more information on it? Or do I do another page? This page, and then create another one off it, so that I could put the other paragraphs I need to put on there. Right. So anyway, this is the one that's got less on it, information on it. So who am I professional? So I've got at the top, Sandra, asexual entrepreneur, author, speaker, advisor, trainer, coach. So in case you didn't know this about me, which I don't talk about much, which I probably should talk about a lot more, I'm actually Sandra Bellamy, if you didn't know that, a qualified, or certified should I be, so fully qualified, fully certified advisor. I've got an information advice and guidance diploma, so I'm actually qualified to advise people. She also holds a teacher training qualification and has basic counseling skills and life coaching skills certifications. Sandra is most famous for her reality TV style chat show and vlog, Asexualise My Asexual Life, which has had over 500,000 views. That's on this channel. Thank you for your support. Love you all. On this channel, she helps asexuals with love, including self-love, self-care, life, confidence, friendships, dating, and relationships, sharing her own asexual life journey to help others and giving asexuals the help, support, and guidance they need to truly ace their life. And so this has some channel stats, which has already gone up already, because this was done on the 13th of June, and we're now talking on the 17th of June. So as at the 13th of June, I had 586,333 views on this channel, 1.66k subscribers, and 3.31k videos. Obviously, that's more now. So in 2015, I organised my first asexual meetup, and every year since. This year, I've only met up with asexuals one-to-one, though I haven't done a group one. Published Asexual Perspectives in 2017. That was this one. So I'll talk about that, and I'll talk about where people can get it from. So get it from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Waterstones, Backwalls, Walmart, and all good bookstores. And then speaker at the UK Asexuality Conference in London. That happened in 2018. And I launched asexualizeacademy.com. That's got free training courses on it, including a free Asexuality Basic School Beginners course. You can type in asexualizeacademy.com and go and get that. And it tells you about, I manage 6 asexual groups on Facebook, 3 dating groups, 1 exclusive paid membership club, which is actually a coaching and training club. Got over 700 people on my mailing list for asexuals, and 2,698 subs just on my blog alone. And I design my own asexual merchandise, in case you didn't know. So yes, that's one of my t-shirts. I aced it. And then it talks more about personal and professional qualifications. It goes down with the information, advice, and guidance diploma, the teacher trainer qualification, pattern changing. I went first steps to counselling. I worked 4 years for the NHS, recovery learning community. Did hospital radio presenting for 17 years of my life, if you didn't know that. And I had special moments where I met Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II at St James's Palace. I actually spoke to her as well. And I got a Good Citizens Award for saving someone's life. And then I've done all this other training, speaking, book publishing, marketing, business seminars, etc. So yes, I hope you found this useful, helpful, insightful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Love to hear your comments and feedback. And I'll continue to get asexuality recognised as a sexual orientation throughout the globe, so no asexual has to live in fear of ridicule ever again. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you haven't already. Grab a copy of Asexual Perspectives on Amazon, and also Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook on Amazon. I'll see you soon next video live stream. Lots of love. Take care. And bye. Bye.